Hi guys, it's Arsh Ellahi, and in today's session we're talking about the UK property market and lockdown 2.0. We're going to be covering all the tips and all the things that you need to survive over the next 30 days and possibly longer. Before we go into that, I want to say a quick hello to all new subscribers, all new listeners, and hopefully you're enjoying the channel. If you've not already subscribed, please subscribe by pressing the button and the notification bell below. So let's get straight into it. UK lockdown 2.0. Good thing, bad thing? Well, what have you noticed about what's going on? So I'm going to talk about it from a business perspective, but also a property perspective. Let's talk about it from a business perspective. Let's have a look at all the things that they've locked down, all the things that they've considered non-essential. Now, it really baffles me with the fact that they've closed down things that are actually helping people through their mental state of minds. Things like gyms, like beauty parlours. I appreciate that they're saying that there's people gathering, but is it really causing us a risk? Is it really causing the rate of death to increase that much? I don't think so, personally. And again, here's my little disclaimer. All these views are my own views and they're not being taken from anywhere else. So hopefully you appreciate and hopefully you kind of see where I'm coming from. Now, going back to the property market, I've seen a massive shift. So it was announced on Saturday evening by Boris Johnson, was meant to come out at 4 o'clock, then got delayed to 5. Perhaps someone needs to buy him a watch, by the way. He actually think he turned out about quarter past 7. So it was quite late. But anyway, when Bojo turned up, he said that as soon as he said that non-essential businesses had to close, we saw a massive shift. So, you know, the hairdressers, all the nail salons, all the beauty salons, all the gym owners, all the restaurant owners, and, you know, people, let's face it, these are all the companies that Boris was trying to push to get back on their feet when we came out of lockdown. So with the help out to eat out scheme, with all the other little schemes and incentives that he was offering businesses, he's kind of shut them down. So he's taken them up and he's dropped them straight back down. Now, a lot of these businesses will not survive. A lot of the smaller independent businesses will not survive. We're starting to see some of them close already. You know, on social media, some of them says, guys, we can't do this anymore. We can't keep having the overhead and not knowing when we're going to make some money, when we're not going to make some money. They've looked at 2020 as in general and they've lost money. They've probably made money within a short space of time of 2 to 3 months when they were able to operate, and then it's been locked off again. And remember, we're going into the Christmas period, the seasonal period. This is when people want to go out. This is when people want to eat out. This is when a period when people want to get their hair done, want to get their nails done, and they want to go out and they want to celebrate. That's not going to happen. Now, one thing I'm going to say is that if you think that this is going to stop by the 2nd of December, I hate to say it, but it's not going to stop by 2nd of December. I'd like to think it's going to, but the fact is that I don't think we're going to come out of lockdown until early part of next year. Sorry if that bursts any bubbles or if that upsets you in any way. I'm just being a realist here today. Now, from a property point of view, I've noticed straight away from Monday, literally the Monday after the announcement, that people have put the brakes on. So I'm the owner of the Property Investor app. And before the weekend, our phones were ringing off the hook. People buying property, we're getting international inquiries. And then as of Monday, we've seen it slowed right down. On the Tuesday, we actually only probably took, you know, within that day, best part of 10 calls. Normally we'd take in excess of 100. So that has got to be an indicator as to what's going on in the market. I've spent some time speaking to some estate agents, spent some time speaking to some other property professionals, and they've noticed the same too. So this could be a really tough and testing time, especially if you're looking to sell your property. What does it mean for those that are renting property? Now, like previous lockdown, if you've got your property tenanted, you shouldn't really have an issue unless your tenant starts to come and ask you for like rent holidays or payment holidays. Now, we're going to see some issues. I can imagine that unemployment is going to start to go on the rise again, or it's going to increase. And the reason being is that, as I've previously suggested, that some companies are just going to close and say, you know what, we can't handle it anymore. You know, with the furlough scheme that's now been decreased from the previous to what it is now, I think they're saying that this furlough is going to be circa around 60% as opposed to 80%. It means that some of these people aren't going to be able to afford on that kind of income. Yes, you can get the top up and stuff like that, but is that really going to help in that way? So we're going to see lots of people fall out of furlough straight into unemployment, and that's going to have a negative effect on affordability, on rents, on landlords. Now, one thing that I do expect to come out of the woodwork now, you notice 2020, Boris Johnson didn't allow landlords to evict tenants, whether that be for non-payment rent or for any kind of antisocial behaviour, whatever it was, we were unable to evict. We had to give them a long enough notice period. And as a result of that, we've seen a massive backlog in the court system, which means that we've not been able to get into court. I can imagine, it's not been announced yet, and again, this is my own view, that this is going to increase as well, which means that now if your tenants haven't paid all throughout the year, they're going to get another little handout. Bojo's going to say to them, guys, okay, don't worry, you can stay in your house, don't worry about paying for it. Why would you need to do that? Which means that it's going to put additional strain on some landlords who are already struggling. And we're going to start to see some of those landlords really come out the woodwork. Now, if you are a property investor, you like to see this, if you'd like to see some kind of positivity, there are going to be opportunities out there. There are going to be businesses closing, which means that there are going to be buildings that are vacant. There are going to be landlords struggling who are going to now consider that this be the final nail in the coffin, and they're going to sell up. And we're seeing that as well. And remember, this is within 1 week of Boris Johnson announcing a second lockdown. And I don't think this is the only lockdown. I think 2021, we're going to see further lockdowns. So be prepared for a rough and bumpy ride for the next 12 to 18 months. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but it is gloomy out there. And you've got to take some precautions. You've got to put some measures in place now to ensure that you survive 2021. So guys, apologies. It's not a positive note, but it is a realistic note. If you've got any questions you want to ask, please feel free to put them below and I'll answer them. I'll even do another video on them. As always, guys, if you want to connect with me on social media, you can do. Find me on Facebook under Arsh Ellahi on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. If you like further free education, why don't you download the Property Rebel podcast? I release a new podcast every Tuesday. It's called the Property Rebel. You can find it on Apple iTunes. You can find it on Spotify, Stitcher, as well as Google Podcasts. Finally, if you haven't already downloaded the Property Investor app, why not? It's the UK's first property investment marketplace, which showcases all kinds of BMV deals, rent-to-rent deals, lease option deals, just to name a few. So if you're looking for your next opportunity, that's a great place to go. On that note, guys, in these turbulent times and in these testing times, I wish you all to be safe, well, and happy, and I'll speak to you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.